darkness. A balance.
It's time for the Jedi to end.
Whew, man. Those Star Wars fanboys did not go down easy. Following up on the most anticipated sequel of all time, Star Wars The Last Jedi follows Rey as she tries to get a reluctant Luke out of hiding while the Resistance is trying to outrun a First Order fleet. Time is not on anybody's side, as General Hux and Kylo Ren are more than ready to finish off the Resistance once and for all. This was written and directed by Rian Johnson, whose last film, Looper, is considered one of the best sci-fi movies ever made. With that in mind, you'd think that this Star Wars movie would be a shoo-in for acclaim. The critics liked it, but the fans, not so much. For the first time since Attack of the Clones, the audience score for a Star Wars movie has been rotten. Some fans hate it so much that there's petitions to have The Last Jedi removed from the Star Wars canon and to have the Rotten Tomatoes site shut down. I can sort of understand where they're coming from with the Rotten Tomatoes thing because it has a system that desperately needs revamping. And while I do think Rotten Tomatoes is unreliable, but I do often give it the benefit of the doubt. As for the movie, it's not as good as the fans say it is, but it's nowhere near the tangled mess some fans claim it to be. The movie wastes no time getting into the story as the action starts right away. Minus the opening crawl, the first 15 minutes are one big space battle. We found out that the Resistance is on the run ever since they blew up not Death Star 3, and now they're evacuating their own base. The First Order is chasing them, and the Resistance fleet only have so much fuel before their shields go down and they're blasted into oblivion. That really set the tone of the movie because for the first time in ages we have a Star Wars movie that has a real sense of despair. The fact that Luke isn't exactly jumping at the chance to leave the island doesn't help either. What drove this movie forward was the character development, both old and new. Poe Dameron gets a lot more time in the spotlight, which is a huge step up from The Force Awakens. Honestly, what did he do in that movie? He got captured, faked his own death, and then showed up in the third act just in time to blow up Starkiller Base. In this one, he's front and center, playing by his own rules and butting heads with General Leia Organa as they try to figure out how to save the Resistance. Finn also gets plenty of screen time, which is a relief because I thought he was going to spend the first 2/3 of that movie in that comatose state. He bonds with crew member Rose, and they go on a little side quest that, although it's a bit of a waste of time, you learn more about their characters. They're selfless, they care for people, they want justice to be brought back to the galaxy. It's little niches of character development like that that make some of the filler moments all the worthwhile. The Force has always had a sense of mystery to it, and The Last Jedi dives into that mythos without overcomplicating things. There are moments of confusion as to what a Force user can or cannot do. For example, someone could project themselves to appear before someone without actually being there as long as they had some sort of connection to that person. I could sit here and talk about what a Force user can or cannot do, but that would take the whole video. Just bear in mind there will be moments where you'll be thinking,
"That's not how the Force works."
Another thing this movie teaches you about this galaxy is that the complexity of the Jedi and Sith aren't as black and white as you think. The relationship between Rey and Kylo Ren is sort of an analogy for the light and the dark side. Rey has a little bit too much pent-up anger from all those years of being abandoned on Jakku to be a true Jedi, and Kylo Ren isn't exactly the evil Sith Lord he's aspiring to be. Neither one of them is a prime example of a Jedi or a Sith, as they both carry elements from either side. There is a very return-to-roots way of storytelling. George Lucas based Star Wars off the formats of samurai movies, war films, and westerns. Rian Johnson brings aspects of those genres back into the franchise along with his own understanding of science fiction. There's a subplot where Finn and Rose go to a casino resort on a planet called Canto Bight, and it is probably the most filler I've seen in a movie since Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. This section could have been easily trimmed down, as it did very little other than pan out the runtime. We do get an introduction to Benicio del Toro's character, but he was very replaceable. You could have swapped him with anybody and nobody would have noticed. If they want us to have some sort of emotional connection with him before the end of episode 9, then J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio have their work cut out for them. The main plot was stuck in one place for the majority of the movie. Think Murder on the Orient Express, except not as interesting. It tries to make up for its lack of location diversity by jumping from place to place near the final act, but by that point, the damage is already done. We've been stuck on the ship for basically the entire movie, and now we're just waiting for this thing to wrap up. Finally, and I hate to hold this against them, but Captain Phasma was once again criminally underused. At this point, she's become the Boba Fett of the sequel trilogy, hopefully without her being axed off into a Sarlacc pit in the next movie. She shows up for one fight scene, and then that's it. I don't know how they managed to do it, but she somehow got even less screen time than she did in The Force Awakens. It's like they said, alright, we have this one scene and action. Good, you're done. You can put your costume back on the shelf and we'll call you again when we need you for episode 9. Star Wars The Last Jedi is a mixed bag in every sense of the word. There's moments you'll love, and there's moments you'll hate. It gives more questions than answers, but it also provides insight. The action and effects were mind-blowing as ever, the characters were a bit more developed, there was a real sense of danger, and the Force was given a bit more depth. Then on the other side of the coin, you have a panned-out story, 2 underused characters that are meant to carry a lot of weight, and a static backdrop. It's not a perfect movie, it's not even the best Star Wars movie, but since Disney is cranking out these movies on a yearly basis with even more on the way, I think we can cut them some slack. The only reason this movie has any controversy is because of fans who didn't like it and have this mentality that says, oh, if I didn't like it, nobody should. So to those people I say, let the fans who enjoyed The Last Jedi enjoy it, myself included. Even though I didn't like it as much as Force Awakens or Rogue One, I liked it for what it was. And I will be more than happy to give Star Wars The Last Jedi multiple viewings, whether it's at the theater or on Blu-ray. Alright, that's my review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Leave your answer by commenting down below, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell icon, maybe hit the like button. Now, if you excuse me, I need to teach Kylo Ren some manners. I may have underestimated his power.
A passenger has died. He was murdered.
I'm sorry for his loss.
The murderer is on the train with us now. And every one of you is a suspect. So, let us catch a killer.
A man was rummaging around my cabin in the middle of the night.
You are certain it was a man?
I know what it feels like to have a man in my bedroom.
What did you think of the dead man?
You leave her out of this.
The real killer is right here. What are you people?
We're surrounded by lies! Who takes up the knife?
Cannot trust no one. Another one?